But I'll go.
The 49 melodies fetch again with incessant ring.
On your best behavior, I trust?
You're not talk. You barge into my villa. The question is... Ah, some time ago. I'll happily show. Thank you. Now...
What?
Give me that immediately. What? No. It was a lie. This is outrageous.
What is the meaning of this?
Thank you. Oi! How did you get in there, you cheeky little stirkers?
What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this?
A golden bow, just like Apollo and Diana's.
How'd you do? Wonder how much one of these statues is worth on the outside.
Domitius doesn't usually let anyone in here. Why? I suppose that makes you... So... Oh, so much work and money. Fine. Ruling this cesspit of a city. I'll have Domitius notify the priestess of my withdrawal. There. You got what you wanted.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you... How is... Oh, come... You're... Sister, he was for... Oh. Anyway. Anytime now. Oh. Salve again? No. I've bounced the eye, but for, maybe that... He did? I'll let Equitia know. All right, friend.
Welcome.
Whatever's in that great temple up there on the bluff, I bet it's worth a fortune.
And you. See you again.
How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not?
What is it? Not that it's any of your... All right?
What? What?
Leave.
How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not?
Isn't the great
Don't
temple
believe a
majestic?
word they tell you.
Shalom. Sentius, I suppose. I'd have to be insane to vote for Malia.
That's quite an impressive
Galerius,
bow you
the
have
farmer,
there. Just like
he's a good man, but... Sentius. All right, friend.
Ave. It must be completed, but it'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Galerius. Why do you... All of the male Well, you're not as... But if it's any consolation, they're... By using... So... See you...
Welcome. Feeling... That's a shame.
Citizen. Name's Galerius. Sorted. Fine. See.
Ah, a fellow... My... Galerius. But I...
Ah, a new I hear we have... Galerius. Alright. Nice to...
Whatever's in that great temple... Hello there! Well... Oh well, let me know. Sentius, I suppose. Yeah? And what's... Certainly, for a few thousand denarii. Pleasure doing business. Can I... Very well.
Hello? Hello? Bye-bye.
Be careful who you trust.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not?
Not. He's one of the three Connor. I'm Mike, that's what. Ben's black. Oh. Well, like, because it's... Alright.
That's quite an impressive bow. Oh, it must be... It'll be... What? As I... Well, I wouldn't describe... Very...
Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our majesty.
A golden bowl.
Time to go to the...
Shiny.
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and late nominee Gallus Galerius Helver. Marcus Malleolus Gurges withdrew his candidacy earlier today. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius.
Galerius. He saved the life of my dear friend Fabia.
Dacius.
Galerius.
Virgil.
The man who put a stop to the threats I've been receiving. Galerius.
Ulpius.
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius.
The man who treated my rheumatism. Galerius.
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Gallus Galerius Helver.
What?
It has been decided. Magistrate Galerius, would you like to make a brief address?
I just want to say, this isn't something I ever wanted. Now that you've put your trust in me, I'm going to do everything I can not to let you down. I'll need some time to put together a list of the changes I want to make around here. But I promise you, there will be changes. My first order is that Dooley is to be freed. Horatius, release him from his cell immediately. Please. Wait, do I need to say please? I suppose not. That's it. You can all get on with your day. Nothing else to see here. Move along.
It's almost as if you... Glad Galerius won. He deserved it.
Fortune smiles on you today, Julius. Magistrate Galerius here has ordered your release.
You're going to let me out of here?
I'm sorry it took so long, my friend. And it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for a newcomer. So be sure to offer your thanks when you can.
I will. I will. Thank you, Galerius. I'm so happy.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Why don't you go to the baths? Then tell Georgius I said you could have some new clothes. Then I want you to go home and rest. I'll speak with you soon, Dooley.
Hello? Oh, thank you. You can have my shiny plaque, and maybe you can help me find my friend Hannibal used to look after me. But before that, he told me if anything ever happened to him, I had to find. He gave me a key to the cisterns and told me to keep it safe. He said, please help me find it. Please. Oh, thank. Hope you find it. Oh, look over there. Maybe it is treasure. I could see it for myself. So pretty. And it's just lying out here in the open. Maybe nobody wants it anymore. Maybe no one will mind if I just take it.
Don't you dare.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
salve for... Oh. Yuli. What? Poor bird. All right, let me see. I'll go.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your arrival. You're unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so brazenly. But there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will. It has come to be known simply as the Underworld. and it exists because of a wager I made long ago. That is a long story, one that began over 3,000 years ago and continues to this day. You see, long ago my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium to search for other forms of life among the stars. We discovered your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates into something lawless and barbaric. You all but destroyed yourselves, your 2 short lives being extinguished by violence and ignorance and disease. Yet Proserpina saw raw potential in you, and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered without our intervention and stewardship. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law, and you called us gods. For a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we saw something disturbing. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion, and soon you returned to your old ways of violence and ignorance, this time in our name. My kin had seen enough, and gave up on your kind, condemning you as barbaric and chaotic, scarcely more than animals. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world, a utopia unspoilt by conflict and unimaginable in its beauty. But my Proserpina could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance, and knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality to descend permanently to the ranks of humankind. And so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation in a deep frozen sleep to prevent age and sickness from claiming her. And then I pleaded with Proserpina's father, who the Romans called Jupiter, to bring her with us to Elysium. It was and is my hope that once there, we might one day learn to undo what she has done to herself. Humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was aggrieved, he proposed a wager. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpina and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind, to watch over you without interfering, and to sit in silent judgment. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, waiting for the day your kind proves itself worthy of her faith in you, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I am, after all this time, still waiting. There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many names, but perhaps our leader Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, Juno, Minerva, Mars, and of course, my beloved. As the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build a city in their own fashion, so that they might be comfortable, and I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths, to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization declined over, of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization, the Egyptians promptly, after another 1,000 years, the Greeks began to arrive, and then the Romans, and they all did the same. They built upon the underworlds of their predecessors, renamed their god to ensure the way. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver, a rare element at the time, across all of Sumer. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant, and as the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets, and eventually coins, spreading to later, when they spread to Greece, they would come to be known as Charon's obol, or as coins for the ferryman. Some placed coins in the mouths of their dead. In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for. Only 2 remain. And so after this wave destroys itself, as it is destined, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock. And it is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of Sumer. To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant erased his memories of this place. But the erasure did not take completely, and he told stories of this place as if his tales were committed to writing, which came to be known as the Epic of Gilgamesh, and his words were twisted and distorted over generations. Later, the Egyptians would adapt Sumer's stories of the underworld. Then, when the Greeks began to arrive, they proved far more. A warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus, and a Trojan named Aeneas. They each told embellished tales of this place, how to get here, and how to escape. And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other stories about this place. Of course, my story is many thousands of years. It is a matter of perspective. God is a label I was given by you mortals, not one I gave myself. Your ancestors revered me because to them, but despite all that, my kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights it affords. Desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage. No. Long ago, I swore to Proserpina that I would remain in this form for as long as we remained among your kind. This is my bit. Like me, she has been known by many names. Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the Egyptians, Persephone to the Greeks, and Proserpina to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime. Your gaze lingers too long. That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces and goes by many names. Kumutubal to the Sumerians, Kirti to the Egyptians, Charon to the Greeks, and Charon to the Romans. Her role is to ferry souls between the mortal world and this one, and to make their transition as seamless as possible. For that, she earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker, the Ferryman. You will talk more later. As you... That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes. That is a story dating back to the very first wave, after the Sumerians finished building their city. Now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife, a prestigious position of power and influence in a new world. Of all the women, 2 were particularly ambitious. Both were beautiful, and both arrived at their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman, recognizing that she would require an advantage to win the ruler's affection, draped herself in jewelry. She prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold, and when her prayer went unanswered, while the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman summoned the first for a discussion. She checked that nobody was watching, and pushed her rival from the top of the ziggurat, where she broke her neck on the rocks below. But I was watching, and I took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her from head to toe in a layer of molten gold. And I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder. But that was not enough. The entire city was tainted by her sin. So I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all to make way for a new wave. And to this day, each of them, and all who came after, line the hall, suspended in time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly of your kind for eternity, as silent golden sentinels. I give your kind a second chance at life. And when you disobey, and you always disobey, and so you ask if I am the one you destroy yourselves. When my kin departed, the golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin, for the Romans. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them, and equipped them and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to determine right from wrong. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 Tables of the Roman Republic can ever cover all possible. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been expressed in many forms. But the Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added, treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties required to apply it to any situation. Yet none of the peoples who expressed this rule were able to uphold it. Curious, is it not? Enough. I'm able to communicate. If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Why do you ask? Then what an Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations? Or you... The merchant. How is that inconsistent with a rule? I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others, and he would be quite capable of paying the price anyway. Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation. Not if we're wise enough to know the mind. Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want? Then your desire to be right outweighs your desire. You will make a Do you really think you... How dare you threaten her?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
And here, allow no, but the, and what did they fur? My it is my the, your answer that that you yet with my kin then they will to ensure as some as it and so from of that is that there Drake well I took that when my I've enough. If then do you plan to abduction? You mean the magistrate in prison? He did so because she sought to escape. A sin I take better that he stops her from escaping, albeit brutishly, than I have to wipe out this entire city to Then you will how the many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Salve. Oh. Yulia. What? Poor. All right, let me. I'll.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce... No, but the one... And what... They will... First. I would recognize that anywhere. And yet my beloved still wears hers. What is this? How did you come by it? You vile, despicable creature. Why would you do... You have put me in an impossible position. If I refuse, you will murder her. And yet, if I agree, I will lose my wager and return to Elysium humiliated and alone. I do not see that I have a choice in this. Your treachery and savagery have opened my eyes like nothing I have witnessed in 3,000 years. And now you have shown me your species' true colors. And I see that Proserpine was a fool to have ever believed in you at all. This has gone on too long. It is time for me to let go of this form, of her, of all of you. But know this, if I abandon the wager and leave for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend. Because despicable creatures like you have no place there. My kin would never allow it. The best I can do is return you to the land of the living. I will have Charon make arrangements to ferry the others. But as for you, be aware you will be separated from the rest. Once this exodus begins, the events that brought you to this moment will never have taken place, and you will have created a paradox. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in the natural flow of time. Now, are you ready? You had best pray our paths never cross again, mortal.
Oh. Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Thought I was in here alone. Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't know who you are. Oh, did that lady in the forest send you in here after me? I guess I lost track of time, learning about the history of this place, and it is I'm fairly certain you and I are the first people to set foot in this city for about 2,000 years. Fortunately for us, the last person in here was a Roman man named Galerius, who inscribed an account into a tablet. Apparently, there was a community of 20-something people trapped in here, and living in fear of a curse they called the Golden Rule. They believed that if even one person sinned, an unknown god would cast them all into gold, like the 1,000 people who'd lived here before them. Then, one day, just as Galerius had finished praying for a good harvest at the shrine of Proserpine, an oracle appeared and told him how to solve the ills of the city, like saving the life of a dying woman, foiling an assassination attempt, and so on. Meanwhile, the oracle walked up to the temple of the mysterious god, this one right here, and demanded an audience. And the doors just opened up to him. Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. What became of him and the other people who lived here? And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had terrorized people for hundreds of years? What? Oh, anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that brought water into the city. I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else has ever... You go on ahead.
You're back! But you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al? Oh, what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions. You can just call me Charon, if you like. I am sorry I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. But I have learned that most people find comfort in familiarity, in gradual change, and coming to see the truth in their own time. That you died, of course. You were dead when I brought you here. My role, as the servant of the god of the underworld, has always been to assist the chosen to cross the threshold from the land of the living. Usually, when people do not remember, most souls would rather not. Ask yourself honestly. As you wish, you were exploring an old tomb when you discovered a cache of forgotten relics, including 2 silver coins of ancient origin. Unfortunately, as you emerged into daylight, a nearby hiker saw the scuffle break out and leapt to your aid, trying to help you recover your bounty. You both fought bravely, but your assailant, there was nothing you or your ally could. He died instantly at the scene, and you fought. That man's name was Al. You were each in possession of a sacred coin, called Charon's Opal by some. And so it means I am now bereft of purpose. There is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths to pay the ferrymen. Well, those stories contained a long time ago, my master created 1,000 silver coins. My orders were simple. Whenever a person died and it means there is nobody else. I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a and there was a tablet describing an oracle who confronted a god and...
Sounds like quite a story. And I look forward to hearing all about... You two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Hey, you made it. It's great to see you again. I read your book, and what the critics said about it. I guess they weren't ready for your theories about the underworld. Anyway, after everything you've been through, I thought you might appreciate some... So after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people mentioned in Galerius' tablet. And I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. I've been dying to tell you, I just really want... Why don't you head on down there? I'll catch up with you at the...
Oh, hello.
You're finally here. Remember? It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Karen appeared and told us she was returning. Even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over. Only, for some reason, she returned us to your world instead of ours. Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wasn't even sure if you'd remember. I wanted to say thanks for freeing us from the... Oh, I used Karen's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too. It's hard work, but I sleep... I know! I can't believe my luck either. But we're engaged, and we're planning to get married next spring. If you're gonna be a... Of course, that...
You're here. It's lovely to finally meet you. So, you're the hero who somehow vanquished the last... I'm just teasing. Actually, and it still feels a little sacrilegious to say this, I'm finding life after religion. Galerius and I are in... It feels like the world has... We're just so thankful. Oh, it's sweet of you to ask. She recovered nicely. In fact... See you...
Hello. I'm... Galerius said... I live at Galerius and... Treasure? Oh. Bye-bye.
There he is!
You're... Oh, of course, and of course... Oh, I barely... I'm living in a house share in London with my wonderful girlfriend. And eventually I want to travel the world and write about it. Did you know there are entire continents roam... And you can travel almost anywhere in an... Oh, sorry, you all...
Hi there.
I have no... Last I heard, Malleolus kept insisting he was the last rightful ruler of the Roman Empire, and wound up being committed as for after the horrific way they treated us. Thank you. Ugh, as someone even in your time life, apparently he'd proposed before they'd even met. And last I heard, she'd bought herself a first-class one-way ticket to join Nigeria? Well, huh. You... I hope so.
You are here. It's... Lucy, if the world... Speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'm studying to get into... When it ended, I realized I missed it. You too.
Hey. Hi there. I'm living up the word still. The ones who... in the words of Epictetus. As those who remind yourself your precious one isn't... Thanks. He's not my... He had more. He got him supposed, but his look for... You're not... And you...
I take... Actually, I'm not... She knew... But he... Anything... Of course... He's still... Eternal torment. Just... You too.
Evening.
Greetings. I am...
Hello.
I am... Perhaps I hope... You...
I take it you're the oracle everybody's talking about. We have. I'm sorry, I never thought I'd leave that, and it seems I have your guitar. I'm working as... Not that I need the money. My son...
You're... I want to... Well, mostly that means... Thank you.
Some soiree, innit? Oh, hello. Listen, whatever you did in that temple made me a most. I took them in. I can't decide. Oh, don't. Oh, of course, yeah. Of course.
Good evening.
Oh, I'm living in. After you, I just want to. Thank. And you. Wonderful.
Greetings. Thank you. I'm all men. And
it is an honor. Oh, of course. You are an. I too will. For a time. Instead, I spent. Indeed. Thank you.
Hello there. Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name. After you... Don't worry. I'm living with Ulpius on a... I'm so grateful to you for making sure you can try some of our very... Thanks.
It's nice to finally... I understand. The way you... I'm living with Gabriella in Umbria. Every day I look at... So we're living each day to the full... Sitting together on... And I... Thank you. You too.
I go for what you did. Sorry, I live with... Huh. Good to know. You...
It's so... I wanted to... And for help... I'm studying. Of course, it's you natives of the 21st century. You too, as Rufus. If you're ever in the Netherlands, we'd love to show you around.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, there's one more person I wanted to introduce you to. I think you know her.
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I've been saving for a long... Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, and now a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention. Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues and whisper to you when he was distracted. I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. There were only ever brief windows in which I could speak to you without being detected. I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of... After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation, the final wave, would not survive, so I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances as they needed to avoid his wrath. So I whispered to Sentius in secret, telling him the prayer required to create a portal in my I knew the danger of humans being corrupted by godly power, and so I required the creator of the portal to sacrifice their own life, so that it could only be used selflessly, to help others. What I did not anticipate is that Sentius would retain his accumulated memories from each previous day, and as a veteran soldier he had long since shed his fear of death. He quickly discovered that he could, in effect, prolong his own life. And of course, once I had taught him the prayer, I could not unteach him. And there was little I could do but wait for someone like you to come along and see him for what he... We were all fortunate you came along when he... I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather... Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she was working on a new world of some kind. She wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised if you don't run into her again. And you. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all the... Good, because they remember you. Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld and returned, none came close to achieving what you did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Aeneas would be proud.